Hi, scientists. Today, our focus question is, what are the parts of an earthworm? So we're going to take a look. We've had our worms since we studied the letter W, and I've been feeding them ever since. I'll show you what their habitat looks like. I put moist paper at the top. They do like to eat paper. And then underneath, I put remnants of my salad. They actually ate it all. I didn't realize they would eat it so fast. I put some lettuce in here, and it's actually almost gone. You can see a little bit of it, but the worms ate most of it. You can see a little piece of it right there. I didn't realize they were so hungry. I will have to give them some more of our salad tonight. In here, they like to hide, so it's hard to see them. Oh, you can see one right there through the side. Let's turn it around. See, oh, there's another one. You can see them. I am going to take one of them out so we can study it more closely. The first thing that we're going to learn is they have very soft bodies, and we have to be very careful not to squeeze them. The other thing is that they are moist. Their skins, their body is moist, but it's not slimy. It's moist. So we're going to look inside and see if we can find an earthworm. Let's see. Let me dig in here and find a worm. Oh, I found one. I'm going to try to be careful not to pull too much. Oh, he doesn't want to be caught. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. There's a couple of them there. Here's one. And here's another. Look at this. Whoa, that's an even bigger one. Okay. Now, let's look at our worms. They're wiggly worms, aren't they? Oh, my goodness. Take a look. Let's just do one at a time. We'll put this guy back in for a minute. Look at this guy. Can you tell which side is the head and which side is the tail? How do you know? Well, you can see what direction the worm is moving, and you know that it's going forward. So this is its head, and this is its tail. Otherwise, it would be very hard to see which end was which. Take a look. That end does not look that much different from that end, except that you can see, after I wipe them off a little, do you see this band right here? Look at that. Do you see it? It almost looks like a bracelet around the worm. That band around the worm is called a clattellum. That's the name of it. Can you say that? Clattellum. That is the large little swollen area here on the worm. That clattellum, that's a word that means saddle. And that is located closer to the head than the tail. So if the worm isn't moving, you know wherever the clattellum is, it's closer to the head than the tail of the worm. Do you see all these rings that make up the worm's body? Look at these rings. Those rings are called segments on the worm's body. Let's see if we can get a good view of those rings. Do you see? See them? It looks like the worm is made up of all different rings. Well, those are called segments. And are each of the segments, do they look like they're the same size? They do, don't they? Those are called the worm's segments. Does this worm have a mouth? It actually does, but we can't really see it. But it does have a mouth, and it does eat. It eats vegetables. It will eat. I actually give the worm salad scraps when I cut up vegetables for my salad. I put the extra lettuce. I put the extra celery, cucumbers, all of that I give to the worms to eat. They eat that, and then they actually also eat paper. They do eat the paper that's in here also. I try to give them a bit of each. So let's see. Let's look at this worm. Now, before it moves, let's find the Clattellum. Let's see. I see it right there. So which one do you think is the head? This one or this one? Let's watch it move. Oh, look. See, there it goes. The head, it's lifting its head, going, what's going on? So if the worm moves, you're going to see that it will move. This is the head, because the Clattellum is closer to the head. All right. We can take the worms and put them back in there because they have to stay moist. If their bodies dry out, the worms will not do well. They will die without being moist. So let's take a look. Watch him go right into the soil. He's moving around. He's seeing what's going on. Okay. So we put the worm back in, and then we give the nice moist newspaper on top so that it stays moist in there. And there are our worms. Okay. You're going to be given a paper that looks like this, and it says worm outline. What are the parts of a red worm? Well, it looks like only half a worm has been drawn here. You're going to need to draw the other part. So I see, right here, I see the Clattellum. Would we say this is the end part? So we have to draw the rest of the worm. We saw that he kind of looked like that. So we're going to label the parts. So here is, let me do it with marker. It's hard for me to do it with pencil. We're going to label. There we go. There's the rest of the worm. So now, if this is the Clattellum, this is the longer piece. So this is the tail. It's hard for me to do this with one hand. So there's the tail. This then is the head. And then this was the Clattellum. L, two L's. And then, very hard for me to write one-handed. Okay, so we have the tail, the head, and then there's that Clattellum. Now, you can draw, remember there were the segments. You try to make them about the same size, and we can write segment. Each segment of the worm. Now you get to finish the sentence. A worm, I'm going to say, must stay moist. I'm going to put that one. If the worm dries out, it dies. That's one that I could say. A worm, you could say a worm has a mouth. Even if you want to label the mouth, you can do that. Mouth. A worm has a mouth. A worm eats vegetables. A worm lives in soil. A worm, what do you want to say? Whatever you want to say, you can answer that question. A worm blank. You can finish that sentence. When you're done, find the next clean page of your science book and glue this in. Have a wonderful day.